Okay, today we're going to do a full leg dressing to include the foot. This patient here has burnt her leg down, and there are some areas on her toes as well that she has burnt. As previously explained, some people measure the leg length using the tough cut, or like myself, I would measure this 3 and a bit. In this case, because her toes have been burnt, so we're going to have to cover the whole of the foot. Now in this case I'm going to measure her foot, so it's about that much. So where this comes, I actually put a couple of areas where it would be easier to fold, because the last thing you want is that it be so bulky around here that by the time the bandaging goes on, it's going to be really bulky and restricting. So that's 1, 2, 3. 3. So we need to put the gauze on. This will go over her toes. And because I've made, this is where it's going to fit into my patient's groin. So we've got a flap coming up there, so we need to make sure there's gauze up there as well. On top of this, which I'm not going to do, but I'm going to ask you all to visualise, is that I would put gelinette on, so it'd be next to the skin so that this does not adhere to the wound. If you've got a burn on the foot and it goes up to the toes, it is very, very important to place gelinette between the toes. And then I cut up the middle. So we're going to place between the toes, so this prevents the skin from joining. I would then have another piece of gelinette which will go over the top. So now, and I'm never ever wind the bandage, the gauze around. You've got to be able to leave room for the patient in case their foot swells. And what happens a lot of times as well, when there's a burn here, it extends up to the thigh. So it's very good to have this cut up here so that it will go right up to the corn, into the groin. Sometimes you have patients in that obviously have got quite large thighs. What you can do is either get a small arm gamgee to pad in here, or actually cut another piece of gamgee to fit in. Again, you're cutting a piece out, and we're going to pop that in here. So we're putting in, and again, right. And this sometimes can be quite awkward because you could lose the flow, so that's the way you do it. Okay, I'm going to ask our patient to lift her foot or with the support. Okay, another thing that's quite important, if we can, is to ask our patient to bend her knee. Because it's been bandaged with the knee at 90 degrees, it's going to be much more comfortable for them to sit in the chair. Otherwise, it becomes so bulky behind here. Okay, so now if we straighten and we can bend and bend again and straighten, and that shouldn't be too tight behind there or anything. If you have a person that's just got a burn here, feet are clear, there's not a problem, yes, you can take your bandaging down from the ankle. It should always be from joint to joint, and in this case it would be up. But you should always bandage, crepe in on the foot. If you're only taking gauze and gamgee to the ankle, the foot must always be included at all times, because the patient's going to be up and down walking and the foot is just going to swell and it's just going to cause most problems. That's your bandaging for a burn to a leg, including the foot.